I'm Ben Winslow on Utah's Capitol Hill. Legislative leaders got an update on the health of the Great Salt Lake, with the House Speaker floating a new idea to help it.
Trend line's been down.
The Great Salt Lake Commissioner, tasked with coming up with a plan to save the lake, updated legislative leaders on Tuesday. The lake has not risen as much as hoped. It's about a foot below where it topped out last year. But it's in part because it's now being managed as one, instead of the north arm and the south arm separately, divided by the causeway.
Salinity, on really positive news, has really rebounded to where we need it to be.
The causeway berm divides the north arm, known for its distinctive pink color, from the south arm where most Utahns live. It's berms like this that give the House Speaker an idea.
Use berms to backwater up into Farmington Bay, where the biggest dust problem is.
Dust is a growing problem as the Great Salt Lake shrinks. Fox 13 News has documented numerous storms carrying dust from the exposed lake bed into surrounding communities.
There's several places across the Great Salt Lake that we can use the implementation of berms to backwater up into some of the areas where there's problems with dust. We let it sit for a while, then it crusts over, and then you can let that water back into the Great Salt Lake.
If the state pursued the idea, the Great Salt Lake Commissioner says it would be a temporary fix.
In truth, we don't know the full context of what that might do to the full lake. If you keep water on that freshwater side, we might end up starving that fresh water from the saltier side of the lake, and we would hate to see those salinity levels spike, because then we start to lose ecological integrity. So we're gonna have to balance this out, but we're happy to take a look at it.
One environmental group currently suing the state over the Great Salt Lake was critical of the idea, telling Fox 13 News, "The good thing is apparently our most powerful legislators are beginning to understand that allowing dust storms from the Great Salt Lake to smother the Wasatch Front will be devastating to our economy and a disaster for everyone's health. The bad thing is they are still groping for just about any solution, no matter how extreme, and avoiding the simplest and most effective, which is to seriously address the massive diversion of the inlets to the lake. Without that, all these other ideas are absolutely going to fail."
Is this sort of a Band-Aid fix for a gaping wound, as it were?
Well, I think that we need to have all hands on deck. We need to be looking at all options.
Now, I also got an update on Utah Lake, and there is progress to report there. Over the past decade, the Utah Lake Authority says they've reduced Phragmites, the invasive weed, and replaced it with newer vegetation, and it is showing signs of working. Utah Lake does feed into the Great Salt Lake. On the Hill, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.